evaluation of the project that we're doing. And that meant interviewing the team members of each pilot site. And really what we're looking at is developing, once we've done this work, developing a best practice framework so that we can roll that out nationally. So that what we've got is a framework that's safe for alcohol services to work with. The evaluation highlighted some positives, some great stuff that's happening, but it also highlighted the things that perhaps there were blocks and difficulties, and certainly, you know, in us addressing certain areas, and I'm part of that action research. And I have to say, I've applied action research to my whole life so that I don't make any mistakes anymore. They're just learning curves, they're opportunities for change. It's really helped, especially when I've burnt the dinner. So we have the support Bath University, which is really eminent, they're very eminent in their field. The action research part of it is me interviewing the team members, reflecting on the practice that's happening. And I think, I'm sure all of you would agree, when you get that time to actually talk about your practice, that there are, in this field, there isn't a lot of time to do stuff. The statistics are very high, the people walking through the door, it's a massive job. So getting time to reflect on your work can be hard sometimes, but it's what we need to do. We need to do that to develop. And I think that time when I interview people, I'm always astounded because they come away and they go, I didn't realise that we were doing so well. I didn't realise we'd changed so much. And that's always great. I love that because that's really good feedback. It's also a time to say, do you know what, I realised I could do better. And I had one group who kind of said, I'm just ashamed that I haven't done as much as I could. That's okay, sit with that for a little while, then come back, okay, what can you do? What can you do differently? And I think that's the beauty of action research, is it's ongoing. It starts with the person, with the practice, with the service, and then what we're working towards is developing this practice throughout alcohol treatment services. And that means being aware of family issues, domestic abuse, screening for it eventually, and developing that practice to ensure that you're working safely. You're probably familiar with this, and you probably can't see it, because I can't see it from here, but it's basically saying about plan, action, do. I think you'd be familiar with that. You're planning, it fits with the, what's the cycle of change, isn't it? If you think about it, it's the same sort of thing. There's lots of different ways of saying it and doing it, but this kind of is what it is. It's about, affecting change, and you're going through the model of change continuously, reflecting on that. What are we doing well? Do we continue that? What aren't we getting right? What can we do to change that? And I do that for me. I'm doing that all the time. I think I worked out last week after 5 months what my job is. So I'm definitely impressed. As I've said, bubbling under the surface, these are the things, not to put fear anywhere, but, let's be aware of what's happening here under the surface. We've had some child deaths that have really kind of put things to the forefront. Certainly government and the Langley report are highlighting that when an adult goes into a service, if you know they're a parent, then you have a responsibility to safeguard the children there. We all have that responsibility in the community anyway. I have very strong beliefs in that. But as practitioners, as people who work with people who are most often parents, we have a responsibility to safeguard. That doesn't mean you're working with the whole family. It means that you're working with that person and perhaps referring on to a service for family support, not necessarily child protection. You know when those things are happening, what you need to do. But these are things bubbling under the surface, and I think government are going to be putting strategies in place that say that you have to do this work. And I think what we're doing now is kind of the forerunning stuff now. It is going to develop into this framework. We are responsible for the client base and the children involved. It's not direct work, it's about referring on and doing the best work with parenting issues, practice with that client group. And I suppose I just feel like we've got an opportunity now to move organically into this before it becomes, this is it, this is what you've got to do. We can read all the headlines now where it says, this adult went through all these different services, and domestic abuse often, substance misuse often part of this. We're talking about complex issues. It doesn't mean that you're always going to be able to effect the change necessary, but we do need to safeguard children. You know, if you consider the effects of a child living with domestic abuse separately or alcohol separately, put those together, think about what that might mean. Antisocial behaviour, if you want to look at the things that government often put money into, you know, children not going home because of what's going on at home. Antisocial behaviour definitely is quite high on the agenda, as is early pregnancy and alcohol and drug use. So, you know, if you're looking at the cross-cutting exercises and that sort of thing, it's all there, you know, the indicators are there.